Hey, what's up guys and gals? It's the Tyrant here and welcome back to my Halo 5 Guardians Mythic Difficulty walkthrough, also known as LASO, which is Legendary All Skulls On, but with Mythic it's also with no saves and no deaths, with scoring enabled when applicable. Today we are doing Mission 3 entitled Glass. We are back in the shoes of Fireteam Osiris. So we've got, Spartan Locke, Spartan Buck, Vale, and Tanaka. And the third mission is it's a Promethean mission. It's not even Promethean heavy. It's strictly a Promethean only mission. It's the first of many that we'll be seeing. And so it starts out on the world Meridian. Apparently it was glassed by the Covenant at some point. Now a private company owns it, and it's in charge, or the persona that's leading it is Governor Sloan, who is a dying AI, which has a small factor into the story later on. So this mission is actually fairly simple. The doors are going to open up right here. We can actually get through most of this without too much trouble as long as you follow some of the steps that I take. Or I should say most of the steps that I take. Don't try to be too inventive here. But so obviously you just got to run to the blast door right here. We're going to wait for it to open. They're going to argue a little bit because Kyle's being kind of a prick here. And as soon as he does open it, you want to focus on the left side here. Now, if you saw my legendary walkthrough, I take the time to try to kill the initial crawlers that are right here, but we're not going to do that this time. We're actually just going to rush right past them. So, doors are opening. As soon as you get the chance, just go ahead and jump on over. You can usually jump over the crawlers too. Run down this pathway right here, jump on top of this little pile of stuff, and then just jump right to the railing. You should miss all the enemies right there. We're going to go to the top level and grab a sniper rifle. Basically trade it out, or trade your pistol for the sniper rifle and all the ammo. You should have I think it's 9 rounds total, 7 extra and 2 that are already in there thanks to the famine skull. You're going to hit that generator or that lock that you just saw a second ago. And then while you're waiting for the door to open, just go down to the ground level and hide behind this little machine type thing. That's all you really need to do. I've never gotten attacked there. That's not to say it can't happen, but as soon as the door goes down, just go ahead and dodge over to the right. The Prometheans will not follow you over here. And so right now you're waiting for that second door to come down. And then as soon as it does, you're going to go ahead and highlight your Warthog so your allies will join you. Run over to it. And my advice at this point is to pull through just a little bit so that you're not being dogged by all those splinter grenades being thrown by the soldiers. So I couldn't find my allies. They're taking too long here. So we're just going to go on ahead and let them catch up. Not that big of a deal. Just make sure you keep your distance. Be a little bit careful here. You're not going to take a lot of damage during this Warthog run, so it's okay. Just try not to accidentally flip the Warthog or anything like that. And go ahead and drive right into this soldier captain. That way you don't have to worry about his splinter turret that he has. So we're going to wait for just a second while I wait for our teammates to respawn. Try not to get hit by those splinter grenades. Generally speaking, the colony soldiers here, the Meridian soldiers, are going to draw most of the distraction while we wait for our teammates. Again, most of it, all you really want to do here is just try to stay out of sight. And as soon as your teammates show up, you're going to want to jump back in the Warthog. Uh-oh, we got some trouble here. Yes, the Promethean soldiers will do that. Now, again, remember we have Black Eye on. And the nice thing about that... Oh, he's trying to take off with my Warthog now. Bad soldier. Okay, so that worked a little bit. And also, just FYI, as you can see, splinter grenades do have an effect on... Oh, he's getting back up there. No, get down. There we go. All right, so now that our soldiers are back, or at least I think Vale is, we're going to go ahead and see if she will get on the turret. And of course, she got in the side seat. I was going to say side sheath, yeah, because that's a thing. All right, so now that they're all in, go ahead and get out of the Warthog. Let your teammates do most of the work here. You can highlight the soldiers if you want to. But basically, whichever soldier they're attacking, they'll wear down pretty quickly with the Warthog chain gun, and you can follow up with the battle rifle. It's pretty effective. And once you've killed enough of them, the governor will, there he is right there, he will come in and say, "Whoa, you surprised me, Spartans," and stuff like that. Or your reputation, whatever, I don't know. Anyway, so, oh, we're getting splinter grenades. So he'll obviously let the door down, or he'll open the door. I'm not really concerned about them taking the Warthog. If they bring it back, fine. If they don't, big deal. What you need to worry about is the Warthog on the other side where the soldiers will typically enter. So you've got the sniper rifle. Just fire as many shots as it takes to destroy the Warthog. That's going to be your biggest adversary for this next area. And of course, my guys are just being themselves. Okay, so the Warthog is down, and I guess on the bright side, my guys brought the Warthog back, so we'll have a little extra cover as opposed to the mongoose that's over there on the left. Like I said, if they do take the Warthog for whatever reason, there's a mongoose there too. The Warthog, though, gives you a little bit of extra armor just in case you get attacked by any other Prometheans. So head over here to the left side. We're going to try and get, we are going to get that Scorpion tank that's in the garage. So your ally should be giving a pretty decent distraction at this point. So just go ahead and climb up here, up the stairs, and there's a ventilation shaft that you're going to want to ground pound through. On the other side is a Scorpion tank. And this is going to get you through the rest of the mission, but only if you're careful with it, because again, you know, they can burn. They can be destroyed if you don't take care of them. So stay here for a few minutes. There are going to be some soldiers, crawlers, and at least one Promethean Knight that I'm aware of, and he has a scatter shot. It's only a base Promethean Knight or a standard Promethean Knight. It's not one of the commando units or commander units. So we do have one soldier captain here that I'm aware of. He is using his splinter turret right now. You don't want to be caught out in the open with these guys, so you're pretty safe in the garage, and since our allies are using the Warthog as well, that's going to help us out a little bit too. So we're just here right now clearing these guys out. I'm just keeping my eyes open, making sure the soldiers don't randomly teleport over here. That's one of the most annoying traits in this game, is they sort of just warp across the board whenever they want to. It can either be away from you, or they can get a little brave and do it towards you. It gets a little chaotic. So we're just going to take our time at this point. Your goal here is you don't want your tank to be on fire when you enter the last area. That's going to be your biggest challenge, because you will get hit. That's pretty much a guarantee. It's almost impossible not to get hit at all. So you don't want to be taking too much damage. Basically, right now our tank is close to new. Once it starts taking damage, you'll see a little bit of slag start to form on the left side, and when it takes a little bit more damage, part of it will start to burn, and when it's close to being destroyed, a lot of the tank will be on fire. So just keep that in mind. So we're trying to shoot at the Knight right there. You can barely see him. He's playing it smart at the moment by trying to hide most of himself, but now of course he just decided to come right back out. So I'm not really that worried about him at this point. There goes the Knight. I'm pretty sure there's another soldier. There he is right there. So I'm going to back up just a little bit. Hopefully my allies can deal with him. So where is he? Don't know. Maybe I see a grenade, so maybe he's somewhere up top. Maybe he'll teleport back down since he can't reach us from where he is now. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't want to wander too far ahead, because you're going to get 3 focus turrets that are going to spawn in, along with some crawlers and a Promethean Knight. So again, just be careful. I don't see him up there. I guess if we do, we can always just deal with it. So I think it's probably just a good idea to start going forward. Yeah, I don't see him. Maybe he just teleported off somewhere. Okay, so those are the focus turrets. They won't see you initially unless you start advancing too far. They take 2 hits with the tank, and that's about it. So, I mean, they're pretty easy even on Mythic Difficulty to deal with. So once those 3 are down, those are really your biggest oppositions here. So go ahead and proceed forward. Every time you see one of those glowing lights, that means the Prometheans are about to warp in. So here it's going to be mostly crawlers. Oh, there's the Knight up there. There we go. Make him your top priority if you can. If he goes and hides, go ahead and deal with the crawlers first. But yeah, the Knight should be your top priority here. Okay, so the Knight, let's see, one more. Okay, he's gone. So again, just take it nice and slow. You don't want anything to happen to your tank. We're already seeing a little bit of wear and tear on it. But again, we don't see any fire yet, so that's a good thing. I'm fine with the way things are right now. Pretty lucky in this scenario, to be honest with you. So there are going to be some more crawlers up here. Just go ahead and take them out. They're not even trying at this point. It's pretty entertaining. and you should be good up until you reach the archway a little bit further ahead. By the way, this is also the same location where you can get the Iron Skull by shooting down that Phaeton that's attacking the Meridian dropship. So, you know, if you haven't gotten that yet, then you're probably not playing this on Mythic. But if you want to, I've got a video on how to do that, so go ahead and check that out. So we're going to go ahead, and once you're closer to the archway, the next wave, there it is right there, will start to spawn in. It's one soldier and a few crawlers. Not that big of a deal. You want to keep most of your focus on the soldier. Always paint the soldier. That's always your best idea. It makes you, not only is it easier for you, but all your allies will concentrate on it as well, meaning you can down it just that much quicker. You definitely don't want them throwing their grenades at you, because that means your tank is immobilized and they can just deal all sorts of damage. So there he is right there. He is definitely trying, but it's a swing and a miss for that soldier. So he's down for the count. Now those little sparks right there can damage you. So wait until they're gone. Wait until they've dissipated before you try anything there. So this is about the spot where that Phaeton shows up. It's always fun to try to shoot it down, but it's difficult because the tank rounds move fairly slow, but at least you can see the trail, so you can see how far off you need. You definitely need to lead your shots here if you want to deal with this thing. I'm not sure how strong it is on Mythic, though. It usually takes a couple of hits on Legendary, but with a Mythic Skull, it might take more than that. Almost had it, but oh well. So another wave will spawn right here. Just go ahead and deal with them. Not a big deal. I think it's all crawlers this time. Some of them will try to run, but they're not going to get very far, as you can see. Now, here's where it starts getting tricky. So this is the final area up here. It's a little bit annoying because you have to destroy several waves of Prometheans, and you can't proceed until you do. There are already going to be some up here, and then there are going to be a few more that spawn in. So there's a few soldiers up here already. Now, you want to be careful because you don't want to go too far in. Your main strategy here is being able to backpedal when you want to. If you move too far into this area, a death barrier is going to form behind you, so you can't go backwards. That means you have nowhere to retreat if you start getting overwhelmed. And I'm going to show you just how far you can go. You might be able to push it a little bit further than how far I go in this, but it's not something that I would try. Remember, this is the end of the mission right here, so it would kind of suck if you the only reason why you couldn't beat it is because you couldn't go backwards enough. That's pretty lame in my opinion. I don't even know why that's there. Maybe because they were afraid it would be too easy otherwise. But anyway, it doesn't trigger until you've moved far enough into it. So as long as you sort of just stay in this area right here, you should be relatively good. And even though the first couple of waves aren't that big of a deal, as the waves get more intense and aggressive, yes, you're going to want to move back because the soldiers will become more aggressive as well, and they won't hesitate to try to teleport towards you to get those grenades in. So again, we're just going to kind of sit here and take these guys out. There are a couple of different strategies you can use. If they're hiding and you can't see where they are, you don't want to explore those areas. My recommendation is you get off the tank and you send one of your allies to the farthest corner, or even maybe mount one of the turrets. There's a couple of turrets here. There's a Gauss turret, I think, on the right, and on the left there's a rocket turret. And as long as none of them are destroyed, you can send one of your allies over there, and usually if there's any Prometheans that are hiding, they'll either attack those Prometheans or the Prometheans will attack them. At that point, they won't be hiding anymore, and you can deal with them with the tank. So it's a pretty solid way. This is probably one of the... I think this is the only mission so far where I haven't had to be revived at all. So in the true spirit of Mythic, yeah, so just to sort of reiterate the things I've said in the past couple of missions, if you haven't seen those videos already, is... revives are allowed on Mythic because it doesn't count as a death, it counts as armor lock. So you can do that, which is a good thing because the game is designed for on the premise that you have 3 other Spartans on your team. Whether they're players or whether they're AI does not matter. That's why you have so many enemies and why they're so much more powerful than we've seen in previous Halo titles. Basically, they can shoot a lot farther. They're a lot more aggressive with their grenades. So, and there's just more of them in general. So battles are bigger. So I'm basically backing up here just to test and make sure that death barrier isn't there. If it was, I'd be gone already. Usually I think that triangle rock that you see on the left is about as far back as you can go if that death barrier is in place. So far it isn't. So we should be in relatively good shape. Again, just don't venture out too much. If you need to explore an area to see if there's any other enemies in it, or if there are any more enemies hiding, just send one of your allies over there. Remember, even if they get armor locked and you're not able to revive them, or your teammates aren't able to revive them, they will eventually respawn back in anyway. And that's usually a safer way to go. If you do it yourself, you're just going to make it far more difficult for you to complete this part of the mission, which would definitely suck since it's the end of it. Okay, so again, we're just sort of, I'm right now just taking shots around to see if I can get any of the enemies that might be just barely hiding behind something to move. Thanks to the cowbell skull, if there's an explosion that happens next to a soldier or a crawler, they'll go flying in a different direction. So this is where I tell my guys just to go ahead and explore those other areas to see if we can go ahead and get those Prometheans that are hiding. You'll know when you got them all because the next wave will spawn in. So yep, there's definitely a soldier back there. So yeah, this is definitely the best tactic to use when you're not sure if Prometheans are hiding. I'm pretty sure that the Prometheans are hiding purposely so that you'll venture out there. I think that's what they were programmed to do, so that you would be forced to leave the safety of this area. So right now I'm just waiting for this soldier to sort of get into view, which shouldn't take too long. Let's see. But as soon as he does, there he is. Go ahead and paint him with your reticle. There we go. And we're just going to go ahead and take him out. Now your secondary gunner will be shooting at him. Your allies will be shooting at him. And that's really all it takes. So we should be in relatively good shape here. But again, every now and then, just test to make sure the barrier isn't there. I don't know exactly how far you can go, but I've gone at least, you know, I've ventured out a little bit in this particular Mythic run. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal as long as you stay somewhat close. You have a fair amount of flexibility in terms of where you can, or what you can see in this area, in terms of where they might be hiding or located. They're very elusive in this part of the mission as opposed to what we've seen before. So we're just taking it nice and slow. Okay, yeah, he's sort of hiding back there. He's got the perfect hiding spot. Oh, whoops. So that was my bad. She got the Warthog. I blew up the Warthog. So, but that was the final Promethean in that area, that soldier. So now we got the next wave spawning in. And so we should be in relatively... we just got to be careful because some of those waves spawn close to our location. Now I know that within some of these waves we're going to start seeing soldier captains. So always make those guys top priority, because at that point it's not just grenades. Whoop, he landed right behind me. Okay, and it just happened to be a captain on top of that. So wonderful. That's going to definitely do some damage to my tank, but fortunately not too much. It's probably down to about 50% right now, which isn't too bad considering we're at the second wave. I forget how many waves there are exactly. I think there's 4 or 5 total, which the last wave has like 3 Promethean knights that spawn in as well. So once you see the knights, you pretty much, I think there's 1 knight that spawns in with 1 wave and then 2 knights that spawn in with the other. So, but don't hold me to that. I'm not entirely sure, just because so many Prometheans spawn in so many different places, it's difficult to keep track. But once you start seeing the knights, you'll know you're in the last wave. At that point, if you feel like venturing out, it's not that big of a deal, because you don't have to worry about Prometheans coming after you from there. And you're basically cleaning up the mess at that point. But again, if you're cautious, don't worry too much. Don't venture too far out, especially early on in the battle, because that'll definitely hurt you. So far it's mostly crawlers. There are a few soldiers here, and again, towards the end of the battle, they're going to start getting more aggressive and teleporting towards you. We unfortunately, with the last one, thanks to the cowbell skull, had one behind us, and occasionally one even gets stuck in the gate just because the explosion from the tank is so powerful that it just launches him. Instead of launching him over the gate like you would think, it launches him into the gate, or into the fence, I should say. So again, we're just taking our time here. Taking it nice and slow. This is one of 2 missions where you get to use the Scorpion tank. So on Mythic, it's always a good thing when you can use the Scorpion tank. It'll make your life a heck of a lot easier. Okay, so again, we're just taking our time here. Now, fortunately, because of the Thunderstorm Skull, thank you. Thunderstorm Skull, the Promethean soldiers' ranks have been raised. And so I think the highest rank is typically the ones with the snipers. And you can differentiate those guys because they have glowing heads. But now all soldiers pretty much have glowing heads, so it's easier to spot them. The only difference between them and snipers is that the snipers don't have a faceplate protecting them, so you can actually one-shot the snipers. But with these guys, you can't. And so in the next mission, we actually come across I should say the mission, what's it called, unconfirmed. We actually come across soldier snipers. So it'll be interesting to see if those guys have face plates or not due to the effects of the Thunderstorm Skull. I hope they do, because they would be extremely overpowered if they didn't. But if I remember correctly, just from watching Legendary Smile, I don't think they have those face plates, so they should still be pretty easy to take down, even on Mythic Difficulty. So like I said, every time you see a soldier, evaluate which one's the most aggressive one, which one poses the most immediate danger to you, paint him, and see how fast they're going down, even on Mythic, with your entire team just aiming at one of them. So it's pretty simple. So I'm just kind of, oh, there he is. Okay, so we're tearing through this pretty quickly, actually. I'm a little surprised. But like I said, it's just a matter of being able to backtrack whenever you can. Those crawlers are trying to get a little tricky on me, but it's not that big of a deal. Definitely keep your eye out for anything trying to come behind that rock right there over there on the left. Because I've had soldiers and crawlers both trying to pull that off, thinking they can get around me. But we're very surprised to find out otherwise. So, again, just taking this part out. This is a little bit relaxing for me as opposed to the previous mission, Blue Team, which was pretty aggressive and definitely difficult. So, you know, if you're doing these in order and you just completed Blue Team, then this is awesome for you because you sort of get a break from it. This one is fairly simple overall. Then, of course, you've got Meridian Station, which you're just walking through. Unconfirmed isn't too bad now that we've found even better ways to take out the Warden. And by the way, yep, there goes that soldier on the fence, just like I said earlier. Even on my practice runs, that seemed to happen. So it's not just a one-time thing. But of course, with the Blind Skull on, hitting the soldiers directly can be kind of a challenge. So unlike in Halo 3, for example, the reticle for the tank is in the same location where you have the reticle for just handheld weapons. In Halo 3, on the other hand, the reticle for the tank was a little bit higher. So fun little trivia for you right there. So again, we're just going to pick these guys off one by one. And it looks like that soldier was trying to mount that turret. Does make it easier for us. He was too far away to actually utilize it against us. There's another soldier doing his little hippity hop. So we should be getting pretty close at this point. Okay, there we go. Okay, another crawler down. So again, I'm just keeping an eye for more Prometheans that warp in here. I think we should be seeing a knight at this point. At least one of the knights, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Okay. Look, there's the guy on the gate. Yep, he's just kind of chilling out there. Sometimes it's hard to tell if they've actually been launched over the gate or they're in it, but you have to kill all the Prometheans in this area before you're able to proceed. So, you know, it kind of sucks if you don't know where they are and you have to sort of venture out a little bit. But again, that's why you send your allies to do it for you. That way you don't have to worry about it yourself. So again, okay, so we have our first knight that's there. I see him over there on the right-hand side, beside that big six-wheeler. And then after this guy, I think there will be a final wave that spawns, and it should have 2 Promethean Knights there. And again, they're just going to be Knight Miners, as I call them. Okay, so there's the next wave. This should be the final wave right here. And there's your sort of trigger that it is, because the Phaetons just showed up. Now, those Phaetons won't attack you, so don't worry about it. But it will let you know that that's the final part of the mission right there. So we have a soldier that's getting a little aggressive. Again, always paint the one that's closest to you, or the one that's the biggest threat. For some reason, I have a hard time painting knights, but I'm not really that worried about it, or at least when I'm in a vehicle. I'm not really sure what the deal with that is. On my practice run, I was unable to actually highlight a knight. So I'm not sure if that's a flaw or what the deal is. Maybe it's because your allies don't really target the knights. I don't know if it's a Mythic Difficulty thing in particular. I don't actually remember telling my allies to attack Promethean Knights when doing my legendary run. Usually I just dealt with them myself. So it's something that I'll explore in the future when it's necessary. But typically when it comes to knights, I'd rather deal with them myself, because you have to attack them in a specific way in order to dispatch them efficiently. As opposed to soldiers where, I mean, yes, shooting them in the head definitely helps, but you can weaken them by shooting them anywhere. And so as long as my allies are doing that, that just makes my life a little bit easier. Okay, so we still have a couple of knights here. There's one. And there should be at least one more. Okay, so another knight is down for the count. Yay. And if I'm not sure if any are left, then, you know, again, it's just like I told you earlier, send one of your allies over there. I think that turret is still stable. So we can just get an ally to go there, and if need be, just, you know, lay some rocket hurt down on any Prometheans that are left. They won't do a lot of damage, but at least it'll expose the Prometheans, so we can go ahead and deal with them from there. Okay, so okay, we do have more that are coming in. So that was the second to last wave, so I guess the knights are going to be in this one. But we should be able to deal with them pretty quickly. I think most of these guys are just crawlers with a couple of soldiers, and then you've got a couple of knights. Or one knight, I should say. So again, actually I think the knights all spawned in the last wave, and this is just sort of a follow-up. Unless it was 2 knights in the last wave and 1 knight in this one, because I'm pretty sure there's only 3. So again, we're just looking around a little bit. I don't want to get too aggressive here. Okay, so there's a knight. So we're going to take this guy out. Okay, so maybe it's 4 knights total. I think it's actually, yeah, I think it's 4. So 2 in the last wave, 2 in this wave. Again, I can't see which ones are spawning since they spawn all over the area. So there should be 1 knight left, and I think that'll be the end of it right there. Okay. All right, so I can't see him, so it's probably about time to send one of my allies over to the turret. I'm just kind of destroying everything right now, seeing if I can get his attention. I'd rather have all my allies here if possible. But I think the knight is the only one that's left. So, alright. Since I'm out of options at that point, just get one of my allies to go ahead and take that turret, lure the knight out, and then we'll finish it up from there. And then that should wrap up the mission. But let me just make sure that knight is going to take the bait. Yep, and there he is. So I'll down this guy, and that will be officially the mission glassed on Mythic Difficulty. So what is the toughest part of this mission to you? What are you fearing the most when you try this yourself? I hope this guide was useful to you and it helps you get through it. But whatever it is, let me know in the comments below, or hit me up on Twitter at MythicTyrant. A link to my Twitter feed can be found in the description below. And if you want to become a premium member of the site for as little as $1 a month, get rewards, contests, prizes for contests, and so forth, and help this site survive 2018 again for as little as $1 a month, go ahead and check out my Patreon site as well. And of course, if you don't want to donate $1 a month, I understand. But fortunately, the holidays are coming up and we have a Mythic Tyrant store. There are dozens of items you can choose from. USB drives, t-shirts, wireless keyboards, coffee mugs, you name it. Check it out for sure. And if you like this video, do you want to see more, do you want to stay up to date on all your Halo news, tips, tricks, and secrets, don't forget to click that subscribe button for more great content every single day right here on MythicTyrant.com. And if you want to be one of the first viewers and first to comment, also go ahead and click that notification icon as well that looks like a bell. Thanks so much for watching, guys and gals. I'll catch you all right back here next time. And as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.